The Dark Knight is hot on the trail of the mysterious Elixir organization. What happens when his quest to bring them down brings him outside the bounds of Gotham? Well, let's hop into the pages of Detective Comics number 1097 and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we once again check on in with Ambrose, the mysterious leader of Elixir who was leaning on Asema after her arrest last issue. It seems that him, along with a new character, named Dr. Burton, I have to wonder if that's a Tim Burton reference, are trying to cover their trails in Gotham City, mainly by torturing to death Warden Slattery, just to make sure he didn't know anything that could implicate the group. Thankfully, he's every bit as dumb as he seemed, and because of that, they feel completely fine killing him. Ambrose says that Asema has left the organization to expose. She was a good soldier, but she was angry and damaged, and because of that, Elixir is going to need to make their next moves very carefully. No more going out in the field with their own agents, only mercenaries, with plausible deniability from here on out. Now, it's after that we end up transitioning on over to something completely different as we check on in with former GCPD cop Harvey Bullock. Yeah, that's right, in a nice bit of continuity, this book remembers that Harvey got fired / left the force after he refused a direct order from Commissioner Savage. Now he's back working as a private eye, but that last case with Asema continues to eat at him. Again, you might recall, but in that last arc I had mentioned that there was actually a really nice character moment for Harvey, wherein he ended up questioning his own worth as a cop when he realized that he actually sent a bunch of those young offenders to the prison where they ended up getting targeted by Asema. And hey, we love an introspective Harvey here, don't we? Batman shows up around the same time too, because it seems that him and Harvey have both hit upon the same idea, and that is that Asema was really only the tip of a much bigger and much more deadly iceberg. Batman has exhausted all of his leads, and because of that, he wonders if Bullock and the GCPD had anything on Elixir that they were hiding. And hey, surprise, surprise, turns out this isn't actually the first time Harvey has heard the word Elixir before. As we discover in a flashback, he actually ran into the group, including Ambrose and Dr. Burton, during his very first call. Back when he was just a uniformed rookie, it seems that Harvey and his partner Sully had been called to investigate the disappearance of a 111-year-old recluse who had stopped checking his mail. They assumed that they were just going to find a regular old dead guy, but instead they found Elixir torturing the guy to death. The Elixir thugs put the fear into Harvey that day and put a massive bribe in the hands of his CO Sully, who told Harvey to drop the whole thing if he knew what was good for him before eventually sharing the bribe with him. The next day the building burned down, and Bullock was told to drop the whole thing by his superior officers, meaning that not only is Elixir very old and very powerful, but they're also incredibly well connected. Batman can see how deeply personal this is for Bullock, and because of that he decides to hire his services as a private eye, saying that it was what Bullock was always his best at. And honestly, it's nice to see Batman share a compliment with a character who historically he's never exactly seen eye to eye on. Harvey's work ends up paying off dividends too once we realize that he can go places Batman can't, and ask questions to the sort of people that Batman would normally beat up or hang off rooftops: madams, junkies, and even the occasional wise guys. Surprise, surprise though, even the most well-informed people in Gotham don't seem to know the first thing about Elixir, meaning that the only port of call Bullock has left is his old partner Sully, who is currently living out his retirement on his yacht called the, you guessed it, the Ill-Gotten Gain. No surprise he was actually forced to take an early retirement when Internal Affairs caught him being dirty. Better yet, in his internal monologue, Bullock talks about how he actually had the opportunity to testify in favor of his old commanding officer, but chose not to. At first, the elderly Sully tells Bullock to drop the whole thing, but eventually we discover once a dirty cop, always a dirty cop. It seems that Sully feared Elixir maybe coming back on him one day, and because of that, he actually kept a treasure trove of information that no one else ever had, including pictures and statements from the actual crime scene. Lord knows Sully wouldn't be the first cop that Elixir killed, and because of that, he actually gives the information to Bullock in hopes that he might solve the case. Well, and also in exchange for another bribe, too. Harvey, being a pretty damn good detective himself, also clocks that Sully has some pills on his counter, the implication that he's sick, maybe even dying, who knows. Now that Bullock has all this smoking gun information, it's time to actually hand it over to Batman, which is difficult because, well, the Dark Knight is a hard guy to nail down. Bruce gave him him a number back in the alley to call if he found anything, and a series of hoops to jump through to make sure that no one could intercept this information, though intercept it did indeed. As not a moment after Harvey sends the information, a group of heavies hired by Elixir show up to blackbag him. Batman shows up not a moment later at his office to look for clues, and thankfully things look hopeful. You don't blackbag a guy if you plan to kill him also. You only do that because you're planning to take him somewhere and you don't want him to know where he is. Now, with a little help from Oracle, Batman is able to track down the van that the mercenaries used and even the airfield that they took off from. It seems that they don't plan to stay in Gotham for long, as they have a trip planned for sunny Pokolistan. Yes, that Pokolistan, the place that the second General Zod came from, and the place that was all over creature commandos. Batman hops in the back jet and makes record time to Pokolistan. He thinks he may very well have cornered Harvey's kidnappers, but when he ends up raiding an armored personnel carrier, he finds not Harvey waiting for him inside, but instead a kidnapped penguin. Oswald, you'll recall, had also run afoul of Elixir in the previous arc, and now it looks like he's a loose end that the group is trying to clean up before everything is said and done. And so that was Detective Comics number 1079, everybody, and oh man, if I loved that last arc because it reaffirmed Bruce's mercy and humanity as a character and as a hero, then I really loved the kickoff to this newest arc, as it basically contains everything I love about Batman comics. Gritty film noir inspired tales, which also just so happened to feature one of my favorite Batman supporting characters in Harvey Bullock. Hell, this is maybe the closest and most friendly we've seen Batman and Harvey work side by side, and I dig that their relationship has evolved and changed so much over the years. This is also probably the most character work they've done with Harvey in a bit too. He feels guilty about a lifetime of things he didn't do as a cop, and now later in life he's trying to make it right again. Elixir also seems pretty compelling too as far as a group of villains go. Lord knows we've seen Batman battle secret societies with insane reach before, but I dig these guys' modern vampire aesthetics. And I'm also just a big sucker too for whenever Batman is forced to leave Gotham City and ply his trade in any other country in the world, and Pokolistan has been getting a lot of love recently in the grander DC universe. So it's certainly fun to see the country pop up again here in such a meaningful way. Overall, I would give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Great kickoff to this brand new arc, and I cannot wait to see what Tom Taylor does next. The series only just started, and it's already been nominated for an Eisner, and you know what? Very well deserved. I hope they win.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.